Good morning. Hope you're having a good start to your day and got a couple of one, two, three studies we want to look at today. Two of them have to do with telomeres. Good morning, John, Nick, Rosa. How are you? Good to have you on this morning. Andrea from Niagara Falls, Nativity. Good morning to you. Shirley, how are you? Great to have you on this morning, okay? Francis Marie. Mike from Wawa. Elaine, good morning to you, Elaine. Sandy, nice to have you guys on. Gerald, how are you? Okay. Jeanette from our staff, Nick and Jeanette are on. Norma, Jeanette. Let me know if anyone for the first time, and I don't know how you, just write it. First time listener. Katrina, Rita, you guys are great. Thank you for coming on. Donna from Bell Valley, Ontario. David, how are you? Keith. Hey, Doc, I'm still listening, Keith says. Okay, Keith. Linda from St. Jude, Quebec. Dave from Windsor. Coast to coast, Canada and the United States. Scotland, Ireland, Australia. Hazel from Newfoundland. Lois from beautiful Elliott Lake and Michelin. Morris, good morning from North Bay. Great to have you on this morning. Bonjour, Yolande. Always great to have Yolande with us. Ashley, Stafford, or is it Joseph? Stafford Joseph or Joseph Stafford? Nice to have you on with us this morning. Andrea and Jerry. Good friends from Nouveau Brunswick. And Francine, Doreen. You guys are great. Okay, Colette, bonjour. Okay, let's get going and I'll come on and say hi to the rest of you. Yvonne and Judy from Newfoundland. Great to have you. Okay, so Laura, how are you? Okay, and Diane. Okay, so two studies talk about telomeres. Now, you remember what telomeres are? They're little caps, wick-like caps on your DNA, okay? So inside your cells, you got DNA. Makes you who you are. And nobody on the planet, 7 point whatever billion people, nobody has your DNA. Identical twins don't have the same DNA. So, remember that. But protecting your DNA, and this is something I'm telling you, in the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, right up to a few years ago, we didn't even know these things existed. Little wick-like, okay, so now, for those who are going to listen to this on a podcast, I want you to visualize what I'm doing, okay? But for those who are watching this morning, I have 3 little wicks in this little jar, right? So I am going to light them up, and I'm going to ask you a question. Okay? I'm going to light these things up. I hope you can see them there. Hold on. See that? See the fire coming off of there? Maybe, yeah, I think you can. Okay? Now, what's the key to this candle is the length of the wicks. Now, you guys know that. Not only the size of the candle, but the wicks the longer those wicks, the longer the candle will burn. And what we know about telomeres, not only are they very protective, they're very protective to your DNA. So, but it's the length of the wicks, the length of those telomeres is the key. So anything that would diminish the length of them will destroy the DNA much quicker. It's one of the ways, guys, we age and oxidize. The same oxygen, can't live without it, is the same oxygen. You guys know this from free radical damage. But one of the ways that we oxidize is when we destroy or diminish our telomeres. Okay, so you got that? Okay. So the shorter the telomeres, the more aging. So as you get older, of course, your telomeres are not as long as they used to be. I mean, it really is a true indication of how fast you're aging. Now, I want to bring you two studies on telomeres, brand new, okay? Hot off the press. One of them is from the Ohio State University, okay? Here's what they're saying about telomeres. High doses of DHA. You guys know what DHA is. That's the long chain fatty acid that you find in fish, that you find in grass-fed beef. You're not meant to eat grass, but cows are meant to eat grass. And when they eat grass instead of grain, okay, grass-fed, so when you see a cow out eating grass, they're the ones who are supposed to be eating salad. Ladies, not you. Okay? Because when they eat salad, okay, salad is glorified grass, okay? So when they eat it, they make tremendous DHA, even more than fish. Okay? But fish is great because it makes DHA. And here's what they found at Ohio State. The higher your levels of omega-3, especially the DHA, okay, remember now, DHA is the long chain fatty acid. DHA is only found in the animal kingdom. Fish and beef. Okay, fish and grass-fed beef. Got that? Okay. EPA, by the way, is also found in the animal kingdom. Omega-3. Now, you can get omega-3 from plants. You know, you can get like hemp seed has a little bit of omega-3, and so does flaxseed. But it's a different type. It's not a long chain. It doesn't mean it's no good. It just means it's not as good. Because it's not going to protect your telomeres. You want these, candle, you want these wicks to last a long time. And what lengthens your telomeres? It lengthens them. Not only does it protect them, it lengthens them, so therefore you're protecting your DNA, plus you're not aging as fast. We're all going to age, guys. Okay? I don't care how much Botox you use. We're all aging. But we want to age less rapidly. We want to protect those wicks. And omega-3, especially high DHA, Ohio State University has said it protects your telomeres. 2, on this study, they showed it lowers your levels of cortisol. Imagine that. Even stress. High DHA. And 3rd, it protects you from the side effects of inflammation. So you guys know this, but I will repeat it. Inflammation is not Houdini. Inflammation doesn't just start on its own. I looked at someone's C-reactive protein this morning. It still said normal on the blood work, but it's not normal because it's above 0. You should have 0 inflammation in your body, unless you just got hit by a truck. You know, you got inflammation in your joints or whatever because you just got hit by a truck. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the silent killer, inflammation. But inflammation, not Houdini. Inflammation comes from 3 major sources. What does inflammation come from? Leaky gut, elevated insulin, so high circulating insulin or insulin resistance, that's food. Okay? And leaky gut creates an invasion of the Third Army. You get a fungal in low grade. You don't see it. A lot of people have no symptoms, but they have an inflammation going on. Inflammation over a period of time destroys, first thing it destroys is blood vessels, capillaries. It damages the Teflon layer of your blood vessels. So what they're showing is, and we've known this for a long time, that omega-3, okay, especially the DHA in it, is very, very anti-inflammatory. And we also know that it protects your telomeres, your wicks. Helps you to age much slower. Okay? That is omega-3 DHA. Okay. Now the second study that came out, 4 weeks, I actually posted it on our private Facebook group this morning, okay? So if you scroll down on our private Facebook group, you'll see it because I posted this. Coffee, vitamin C. People, I know vitamin C, okay, the other one. A lot of people take that as a supplement. And you don't hear me talking about that very much. And why is that, Dr. Martin? Why? Because the true vitamin C is coffee. Okay? The true vitamin C is coffee. Why do I say that? Because it is a very powerful antioxidant, coffee. And this, listen to this study. In 4 weeks, in the European Journal of Nutrition, they reported this study. I flagged it this morning. Probably yesterday. Dark coffee, okay, dark coffee protects your DNA in 4 weeks, a 23% improvement. Okay, I'm going to show you the candles. See that fire burning in there? Longer wicks. You get longer wicks, when you drink coffee, the real vitamin C. Guys, I meant it. It's not a joke. Some people think it's just my sense of humor that I call coffee vitamin C. No, it's not. Well, yeah, it's part of my sense of humor. But if you don't drink coffee, I feel sorry for you. You don't have to have a vitamin C, the other vitamin C supplement. Linus Pauling won a Nobel Prize in the 1970s. He lectured to us. Smart guy. Linus Pauling won a Nobel Prize in medicine for his research on vitamin C. And today, if he understood the benefits of a much more bioavailable vitamin C coffee, he'd win another Nobel Prize on drinking coffee. Now, this study was done with dark coffee. Okay? What do I mean by that? Black. I was talking to somebody the other day and they just confirmed what I tell you guys. Now look, you put cream, don't put milk. You put some cream in your coffee. I can live with that. You're not diluting it. Cream is good. Cream is really milk, the way it should be, okay? So you want to don't put milk in your coffee, and don't put any of that garbage, plant milks, like almond milk. Ooh, why do you want to drink that stuff? Okay? Why do you want to have oxalates in your coffee? Leave your coffee alone. How long does it take to form a habit? How many weeks? 21 days. As I've told you many times, I took enough psychology 101. I remember the course in university. That's what it was called, Psychology 101. Here's what I learned, okay? Here's what I learned about human behavior, and I've never forgot it. Takes 3 weeks to form a habit. Takes 6 weeks to cement that habit. So a person the other day I was talking to them, said, Doc, I took you up on your challenge to change a habit as far as coffee, because I always had to have some sweetener in it. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go. And it took about a week or so. And now if I have anything in my coffee, I don't like it. I like black. And look, guys, like I said, you want to put some cream in there. You're asking me about sweeteners. Put a little bit of cinnamon or something if you have to sweeten it. Okay? Now, look, again, I'm not going to make a federal case out of the fact that you put a sweetener in. If you're going to start that way. But guys, once again, you want to have an anti-aging. Because think about it. Because medicine is focused in on, when they treat cancer, it has everything to do with going after the DNA. Because they say it's changed, cancer attacks it at the cellular level. And that's true. There's changes that occur in a renegade cancer cell. There's no doubt about that. But medicine's idea is to create drugs and chemotherapy to try and get at that. But the key is right before our eyeballs. Not only are we learning about omega-3, especially the high DHA, coffee. I often talk about Navitol because one of the things that Navitol does, it protects your telomeres. But that's pine bark. But guys, the story of pine bark and the story of, for me, coffee is this, okay? Is this. Here's the connection. When Jacques Cartier, I should actually show you this, and I might, okay? Now stay with me for a half a second here. Stay with me for a half a second. I'm going to get out my family. Okay, you'll see this again. For those of you on a podcast, you're not going to see this, and this will be upside down for you here this morning on Facebook. But you see this? This is the family tree of the Martins, okay? Les Martins. Because my 16th generation ago, great 16 times grandfather came from France, okay? So we went back, okay? And I just tell you this story because there's a little bit of a legend here. I don't know if it's true. But we go back and to originally in Quebec in June the 16th. This was done through marriage certificates, okay? So when my father got this done, and the Canadian genealogy, oh, my tongue is twisted this morning. My 16th generation grandfather ago, his name was Jacques Martin. Came from France in a place called Diatre. Okay, so I don't know if I pronounced that right. I'm a Frenchman, but I don't know if I did it. And it's spelled D''Aytre. Now, he came across and got married in Quebec in 1669. Now, apparently, okay, and again, this is legend, okay, so I don't know if I wasn't there, so I don't know if this is absolutely true, but a generation before, a Martin came with Jacques Cartier. Now, is that true or is it legend? I don't know. But you know what happened to Jacques Cartier? Well, his men died of scurvy. He didn't know what scurvy was. But as they traveled, he lost 25 men. This is written in his annals. And they're even today are preserved at the University of Quebec. And 25 men died. The wonderful First Nations people befriended Jacques Cartier as he came down the St. Lawrence. And when they realized that his men were sick, they gave him a tea. Now, what did they give him in it? Pine bark. Yeah, pine bark extract. That's where the research, not at the time, but a fellow by the name of Jacques Mascalier, who I met in the 1950s, was reading Jacques Cartier's annals, and he said, what the H? Double hockey stick, was in pine bark. And he went back to France, and he discovered that pine bark was like an antioxidant, the strongest that they'd ever seen at the time, and still is. But what am I saying? You see, Jacques Cartier and his men, and they wrote about it, they said, man, we feel so much better. We were low in our energy, and this trip
killed a lot of our men, but now we're feeling so much better. He said, I've never felt better. But what's the point? You see, the point is, okay? The point is true vitamin, because they didn't give him oranges so that his men would recover from scurvy. They gave him pine bark extract. And pine bark made into a tea. And now what we know about coffee, the coffee bean has those characteristics of quercetin, polyphenols. It's like a multi-vitamin to protect your wickets, your telomeres, your wickets, your wicks, your telomeres. Okay? So a long story to tell you why I love coffee. It is the true vitamin C. The true vitamin C. And you know, this is important. So is omega-3. It protects those wicks. See, my candle is still burning, guys. It'll probably burn, well, there's a lot of candle left and those wicks are pretty long. So it's probably going to burn all day if I just let it. I'm sure it would. But do you understand the concept of anti-aging? Protecting your telomeres? It's very important. Now, nobody wants to age quickly, but if it's only aging, we're not talking about only aging. We're talking about disease. We're talking especially about cancer. Because cancer, look, cancer needs two things. One, to grow. It needs, okay, what does cancer need? It needs sugar. It needs fuel. So when I talk to people about cancer, I say, well, don't feed it. And some doctors think that all cancer is a fungus. It's yeast growing out of control. I don't necessarily disagree with that. It's a theory, you know, that it comes out of leaky gut and that yeast or fungus spreads. We know what yeast does. Outside the body, it grows. That's how you make bread, right? You want your bread to rise, you better put some yeast there. Well, the problem with candida or yeast or fungus, we talked about this maybe a few weeks ago when we named a new disorder called SIFO. Small intestine fungus overgrowth rather than bacterial overgrowth. Medicine loves to look at bacteria and viruses. Okay? Bad guys. I like to look at fungus because that's the real bad guy. So cancer needs fuel. You're feeding it when you eat sugars, 100%. And then when you can damage the DNA of your cells, you get bad teenagers. Your cells become bad, out of control, juvenile delinquents that run around in your body and destroy normal cells. You want to protect yourself from that. And this morning I brought to you 2 studies. I thought I would do 3, but we'll do 2. One on fish oil or DHA or eating your vitamin S steak. And 2, coffee. Yep. The true vitamin C. And I don't apologize for saying it. I don't. It's true. And people are, oh, Dr. Martin, coffee is acidic. Coffee's got caffeine. Coffee's no good for you. Coffee is, No, it's not true. Okay? The only time coffee's no good for you when you put sugar in it. Stop putting sugar in it. You're negating the benefits of it. I got to have a little sugar. No, you don't. Form a new habit. You can do this. You want to, look, guys, you can't control everything in life. You can't, okay? You could be the healthiest person in the world and you get hit by a bus, okay? I mean, it can happen, right? We know that. We're not in control of everything, but we ought to control what we can control. And that's what I tell people. I tell cancer patients all the time. For years and years and years, I told them, can't control. You got cancer. You can't control everything in your life. You got this C diagnosis. Now, don't feed it. Well, doc, that's simple. Yeah, it's simple. It's not easy, though. You know, it's not easy, but it's simple. Don't feed it. And protect those telomeres. Keep your wicks elongated. Don't let the candle burn out. I think that's a song too, isn't it? Okay, so thanks so much, guys. We appreciate, sorry to give you a little bit of history lesson of the Martin family. I could go on the other side, on my grandmother's side. She was a Rochefort. Very interesting story there too. But anyway, give you a little bit of history. Okay. So we love you guys. When I say that, I mean it. We thank you so much. Thank you for joining our private Facebook group, guys. Like, we're tens of thousands now on that group. Thank you. You've made that community fantastic. Thank you for making the Reset Again #1 book in Canada. We appreciate the sales there of this book. We want to get this into your hands, guys. My passion, I mean it, my passion is to educate. Doctor means teacher. Now doctors have gotten away from it. They should be teaching, making people understand. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand some things. Okay? So that's my passion, is to do that. And I thank you for your participation in that. I mean that. Like, without you guys, how could I do it? And I thank you for the venue that we have to be able to do that. Now, if you're not listening to our podcast, I think you should. It's amazing. Repetition, repetition, repetition. So download those things on your device. And, one thing I mentioned yesterday, and if you can give us a review there, it really does help with podcasts, okay? Give us a review. Be nice. No, but really, okay? We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.